Good morning. I am Priya from Mechatronics Department, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. I am handling the subject Electrical Machines and Drives. The course code is U18PCMT 306. Today we discuss about the topic is circuits and transformer. First we have to discuss about the topic DC current. Okay, DC stands for direct current, although it's often referred to as DC current. DC current is defined as a unidirectional electric charge. That means only one direction. In DC current, the electrons move from an area of negative charge to a positive charge without changing the direction. This is unlike alternating current circuits where current can flow in both directions. Okay, DC current can flow through conducting material like wire and also flow through the semiconductors. DC current simple. The DC current is a constant current. Therefore, the symbol of DC current is a straight line. In below diagram represents the straight line represents as a DC current. The symbol of DC and AC current is shown in the figure below. Symbol of DC and AC current. The DC current is a constant, so it's a straight line. AC current it's a alternating current, so it's a sinusoidal waveform. Next one is the DC voltage. Okay, the DC voltage induces the direct current, the waves only in one direction, and the magnitude of the voltage always remains constant. The generation of the DC voltage is quite simple and easy. The voltage induces by rotating the coil in the field of the magnet. The coil consists the split ring and commutator, which converts the alternating current into the direct current. What is the relationship between the AC and DC? It's DC voltage, it's nothing but multiplication of AC voltage into 1.414. This is the relation between the AC and DC voltage. Next one is the what is meant by DC power. Here power can be defined as the rate of energy consumed in a unit time. The unit of measurement of power is watt. Okay, all of you know the unit of power. After the famous 18th century, scientist James Watt, who invented the steam engine. In mechanical system, power is known as the mechanical power. It is combination of force and movement. But in our subject, we are discussing the electrical power. So, in electrical system, electrical power is the rate of flow of electrical energy past a given point in a closed circuit. For our application, we will only consider the electrical power. Next, power, which is a result of current flowing in alternating direction, is termed as AC power, and one which is a result of current flowing in only one direction is called a DC power. We already know what is meant by AC and DC. Okay, voltage is energy per unit charge. Current is the rate of electric charge moving through a conductor. Electrical power is the product of voltage and current. Okay, what is the formula of power? The power is derived from the voltage and current. So the formula of power P is equal to V into I. So multiplication of voltage and current. Next, it's an important topics. It's already you studied in the previous semesters. Okay, what is meant by Ohm's law? It's a constant temperature. Current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference in volts across the two ends of the given conductor. Okay, and inversely proportional to the resistance in ohm between the end of the same conductor. Okay, this is the formula for the Ohm's law. I is directly proportional to the potential difference between the P and D and inversely proportional to the resistance. Okay, and the unit of the ohms, volt by ohms. Okay, in all practical problems of electrical calculation, it's assumed that the temperature rise is within limits. So that electrical properties such as insulation and conductor properties of the. So I is equal to V by R. It's a formula of Ohm's law. Okay. Ohm's law is nothing but directly proportional to the voltage and inversely proportional to the resistance. Okay. In below diagram represent the PQ. Since one conductor resistance applied to this terminal. So I is equal to VR minus VQ divided by R. Finally, we got the answer is voltage divided by resistance. Okay. Next topic is Kirchhoff current and voltage laws. Okay, first one is the Kirchhoff current law. What is meant by Kirchhoff current law? It states that the total current entering a junction is equal to the total current leaving the junction. Okay, this is the algebraic sum of the current at the junction will be 0. So, at the node, this diagram represents the entering the node. What are the entering node? I2, I3, I4. Okay, I2 plus I3 plus I4. This is the entering node. Is equal to leaving node. Leaving node, what is the leaving node? I1, I5 and I6. Okay, this is the equation for Kirchhoff laws. Okay, and another representation I2 plus I3 plus I4 minus I1 minus I6 minus I5 equal to 0. Okay, next one is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Kirchhoff voltage law is based on the law of the conservation of the energy. States that the algebraic sum of the voltage drop in a closed loop is 0. This diagram represents this Kirchhoff voltage law. Okay, E1 plus E2 plus E3. E1, E2, E3 represent the voltage equal to V. So, E1 plus E2 plus E3 minus V equal to 0. Flow of currents in loop is assumed positive from higher potential to lower potential. And the elements are positive from the lower to higher potential in source. Okay. Next one is the mesh current analysis. While Kirchhoff laws gives us the basic method for analyzing any complex electrical circuit, there are different ways of improving upon this method by using mesh current analysis or nodal voltage analysis. That results in a decreases of maths involved, and when large networks are involved, this reduction in maths can be a big advantages. So we are using this mesh analysis method. Mesh analysis is one of the basic techniques used for finding current flowing through the loop in a network. Mesh analysis is applicable if the given network contains voltage source. If there exists current sources in a circuit, then it should be converted into equivalent voltage source. The formula for the mesh current analysis, Z is equal to V. Next one is the AC voltage. The current that changes its magnitude and the polarity at regular intervals of time is called the alternating current. The major advantages of using the alternating current instead of direct current is that the alternating current is easily transferred from higher voltage level to lower voltage level. Okay, the graph represents the manner in which an alternating current changes with respect to time is known as wave shape or waveform. Usually, the alternating value is taken along the y-axis and time taken to the x-axis. Okay, the diagram represents the x-axis represent the time, y-axis represent the values. Okay, then alternating function or AC waveform on the other hand is defined as one that varies in both magnitude and direction in more or less a even manner with respect to time, making it a bidirectional waveform. An AC function can represent either a power source or a signal source with the shape of an alternating current waveform, generally following that of the mathematical sinusoidal being defined. A of t is equal to A of maximum into sine of 2 pi ft. Okay, this is the phasor representation of this AC waveform. Phasor representation are a graphical way of representing the magnitude and directional relationship between two or more alternating quantities. This one is the sinusoidal waveforms of the same frequency can have a phase difference between themselves, which represent the angular difference of the two sinusoidal waveforms. Also, the terms lead and lag as well as in phase and out of phase are commonly used to indicate the relationship of one waveform to the other with the generalized sinusoidal expression given as A of t is equal to AM sin omega t plus or minus pi. Okay, representing the sinusoidal in the time domain form. Generally, when constructing a phasor diagram, angular velocity of a sine wave is always assumed to be omega in radian per second. Next one is the power factor. is an expression of energy efficiency. It is usually expressed as a percentage, and the lower in the percentage, the less efficient power usage is. The ratio of working power measured in kilowatt to apparent power measured in kilowatt ampere. Okay, apparent power also known as the demand power. Okay, the apparent, this diagram represents apparent power is represented as a demand power. It's measure of the amount of power used to run machinery and equipment during a certain period. Okay, it is found a multiplying the voltage and current. The result is expressed as in kVA units. Okay, this is the diagram, power factor triangle diagram. Okay, this one is the x-axis represent the real power, y-axis represent by the reactive power. Okay, the intermittent of the apparent power and real power is the power factor angle. Okay, the other fraction of power is called reactive power. Reactive power does no useful work, but it's required for the active work to be done. We denote with Q, and mathematically is given by Q is a reactive power equal to total electrical power into sin pi, and its unit is var, double var. Var it's nothing but a voltage ampere reactive. This reactive power oscillates between source and load. To help understand this better, all this power are represented in the form of the triangular. Okay, in previous slides we discussed this one. Okay, mathematically S squared equal to P squared plus Q squared, and electrical power factor is active power divided by apparent power. Okay, next one is the what is meant by the power. What are the importance of power factor? The term power factor comes into the picture in AC circuits only. Mathematically, it is the cosine of the phase difference between the source voltage and current. It refers to the friction of the total power. Total power is nothing but an apparent power, which is utilized to do the useful work called the active power. Active power is nothing but an utilized power. Okay, so cos phi is equal to active power divided by apparent power. Okay, next we have to calculate the complex power. Complex power is basically the representation of electrical power in the form of complex number. Okay, what is meant by complex number? It consists of the real and imaginary part. Real part represent the active power, imaginary part represent by the reactive power. Okay, it's represented by the symbol is S. Okay, active and reactive power P and Q respectively, then complex power for an inductive load. Okay, so inductive load means S is equal to P plus JQ. P represent as the active power, Q represent as the reactive power. Okay, next complex power for a capacitive load means S is equal to P minus JQ. P represent same as the inductive power, only changing the sign. Okay, next topic is the transformer. Okay, what is mean by transformer? Transformer basically all of you know that which is a static device which is used to the transfer electrical energy from one AC circuit to the another AC circuit. In name transformer. Oh, okay. Trans means it's a transfer. Okay, transfer energy, one form of the energy to the another form of the one form of energy converted to the one circuit to another circuit. Okay, input to a transformer and output from a transformer both are alternating quantities. Okay, so electrical energy is generated and transmitted at an extremely high voltages. The voltage is to be then reduced to a lower value for its domestic and industrial use. This is done by using a transformer. Okay, so the power transmission system using transformers is shown in figure. When the transformer changes the voltage level, it changes the current level also. First, where will get the energy? It's from the generation station. Okay, this is the generation station. Next one is transmission system. Okay, the energy transferred to the consumer. How to transfer? So we are using the transmission lines and distributors. Okay, the transmission line, two types of transmission line. One is there. One is the 33 into 13.5 kilowatt. Another one is 13.5 into 6.6 kilowatt. Okay, this is the different levels they are using. Okay. Next, what are the working principles for transformer? The main principle of operation of a transformer is mutual inductance between two circuits, which is linked with a common magnetic flux. Okay, this is this diagram represent the transformer working principle. Okay, the primary and secondary coil, two coil is there. Okay, it's commonly connected in the magnetic flux. A basic transformer consists of two coils. One is the primary coils, another one is the secondary coils that are electrically separated and inductive, but are magnetically linked through a path of reluctance. The working principle of the transformer can be understood from the figure. Okay. As shown above, the transformer has primary and secondary windings here. The core lamination or join in the form of strips. In between the strips, you can see that there are some narrow gaps right through the cross section of the core. These structures joints are said to be a imbricator. Okay, both the coils have high mutual inductance. A mutual electromotive force is induced in the transformer from the alternating flux that is set up in the laminated core due to the coil that is connected to a source of the alternating voltage. Most of the alternating flux developed by this coil is linked with the other coil, and this produces the mutual induced electromotive force. Okay. So the produced electromotive force can be explained with the help of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction as E is equal to m into di by dt with respect to time. If the second coil circuit is closed, means current flow in it, and this electrical energy is transferred magnetically from the first to the second coil. Okay, so closed loop circuit means current flowing through this one circuit to another circuit. Okay, in a closed loop means it's a energy is transferred magnetically from the coil 1 to 2. Okay. The alternating current supply is given to the first coil, and hence it can be called as the primary winding. The energy is drawn out from the second coil and thus can be called by the secondary winding. In short, okay, the conclusion of this one. The transformer carries the operation zone flow, transfer of electric power from one circuit to another circuit, transfer of electric power without any change in frequency. In AC means we can't change the frequency. Transfer with principle of electromagnetic induction principle. Two electrical circuits are linked by mutual inductance principle. Okay. Next one is the transformer construction. For the simple construction of a transformer, you must need two coils having mutual inductance and a laminated steel core. For the simple construction of a transformer, you must need two coils having mutual inductance and laminated steel core. The two coils are insulated from each other and from the steel core. The device will also need some suitable container for the assumed core and windings. A medium with which of the core and its winding from its container can be insulated. Okay. They insulate and bring out the terminal of the winding from the tank about bushings that are made from either Persian or capacitor type must be used. Okay, in commercially used transformers the core is made out of transformer steel lamination assembled to provide a continuous magnetic path with minimum air gap included. The steel should have high permeability and low hysteresis loss. For this to happen, the steel should be made up of high silicon content and must also be heat treated. By the efficiency, effectively laminating the core, the eddy current losses can be reduced. So we are using the steel lamination. The lamination can be done with the help of the light coat of the core plate, varnish or lay of oxide layer on the surface. For the frequency of 50 Hz, the thickness of the lamination varies from 0.35 to 0.5 mm for a frequency of 25 Hz. Okay. This is the classification of transformer. As per phase means single phase and three phase transformer is there. As per core means core type and cell type. As per cooling system means self-cooled, air-cooled, and oil-cooled. Okay, this is the core type transformer. The low voltage line, high voltage line. Okay, the high voltage insulation, low voltage windings, high voltage winding is lag. This is the lamp core type transformer. The winding are given to the considerable part of the core. The core coil is used for this transformer are farm wound and are a cylindrical type. Such type of transformer can be applicable for small sized and large sized transformer. Okay, this type of core type transformer used in the large type of transformers. This small sized core will be rectangular in shape and the coil used are cylindrical. Okay, the figure below shows it large size type. Okay, this is the large size type. You can see that a round or cylindrical coil are wound in such a way as it fit over a crucial form core section. In the case of circular cylindrical coil, they have a fair advantages of having good mechanical strength. The cylindrical coil will have different layers and each layer will be insulated from the other with the help of material like paper, cloth, mesarate, board and so on. The general arrangement of the core type transformer with respect to the core is shown in below. Both low voltage and high voltage coils are shown. Okay. This is the low voltage winding are placed nearer to the core as it is the easiest to insulate. Okay, effective core area of the transformer can be reduced with the use of lamination of insulation. This is the core type transformer, low voltage, high voltage coils. Okay, all are connected in the insulating cylinders. This is the strong rigid mechanical bracing must be given to the core and the coil of the transformer. It's a minimizing of the movement and the device to prevent the insulating damage. Okay, transformer with good bracing will not produce any humming noise during its working and reduce the vibration. Okay, a special housing platform must be provided for transformers. Usually, this device placed in a tightly fitted sheet metal tank filled with special insulation oil. The oil needed to circulate through the device. Okay, because why we are using the oil means it's a cooling for the coils. Okay, it is responsible for providing additional insulation of the device when it's left in the air. Okay, next one is the classification of the transfer of cooling employed. Okay, first one is the coil filled self cooled type, oil filled water cooled type, air blast type. The first one is the oil-filled self-cooled type uses small and medium-sized distribution transformer. The assembled windings and core of such transformer are mounted in a welded oil-type steel tank provided with a steel cover. Okay, the tank filled with the purified high-quality insulation oil as soon as the core is put back into the proper places. The oil helps the transforming the heat from the core of the winding to the cause from where it's a radiator out from the surroundings. Okay, already we know the why we are using the coil. And the coil it's prevent the heats from the coil. Okay, for smaller size transformer, the tanks are usually smooth surface, but for large size transformer, a greater heat radiation area is needed. So, and that too without disturbing the crucible capacity of the tank. Okay, this is achieved by frequently correlating the cases. Still, larger sizes are provided with radiation or pipes. Okay, next one is the oil-filled water cooled. This is the most economic construction for the large transformer. It is a self-cooled method, very expensive. So, we are not many number of industries are used. The same method used here. Well, the winding and the core are immersed in the coil. The only difference is that the cooling coil is mounted near the surface of the coil through which cold water keeps circulating. Okay. Next one is the air blast type. This type is used for transforming that the voltage below 25,000 volt. The transformer is housed in a thin sheet metal box, often at both ends, through which air is blown from the bottom of the top. Okay. Another one is a single phase transformer and three phase transformer. Single phase transformer only have a 2 or more windings coupled by a common magnetic coil. This is the primary winding. This one is the secondary winding. Okay. The number of coils is represented as a N1, N2. Okay. The primary winding is connected to the supply voltage. Okay. Once a voltage is applied, means the magnetic flux will be created and the inductance principle is used. Okay. This is the three-phase transformer. This requires single enclosure, 3 primary and 3 secondary windings found in a common core. Okay, this is 3-phase, so we are need the 3 windings. However, 3 single phase transformer with the same rating can be connected form a 3-phase bank. Since each single transformer have a primary and secondary winding, then the 3 single phase transformer will have require 3 primary and 3 secondary windings and can be connected in a field either delta to delta or star to delta. Okay, to achieve require 3-phase transformer bank. Okay, next one is the ideal transformer, which has no losses, its winding can no ohmic resistance, no magnetic leakage, therefore no I square R and core losses. It is impossible to realize such a transformer in practice. So approximate characteristics of ideal transformer will be used in characteristics the practical transformer. So N1 is equal to N2. The number of primary turns is equal to the number of secondary turns. Okay. V1 indicates the primary voltage, V2 indicates the secondary voltage, E1 primary induced voltage, E2 primary secondary induced voltage. N1 is equal to N2 is equal to transformer ratio. Okay, next, this is the important thing. EMF equation of a transformer voltage transformation ratio. Source of alternating current is applied to the primary winding. Due to this, the current in the primary winding produces alternating flux in the core of transformer. This alternating flux gets linked with the secondary winding, and because of the phenomenon of mutual inductance, an EMF gets induced in the secondary winding. Magnitude of this induced EMF can be found by using the following EMF equation of the transformer. EMF equation of the transformer. Okay, N1 is a number of turns in primary winding, N2 number of turns in secondary winding, pi m maximum flux in the core. That means WB. Okay, the F is equal to frequency of the AC supply. As shown in figure, the flux rises sinusoidal to its maximum value pi m. Okay, from 0, it reaches to the maximum value in 1/4 of the cycle. So T by 4 seconds. Okay, where time is period of the sine wave of the supply is equal to 1 by F. Okay, T is equal to 1 by F. Therefore, average rate of change of flux pi m divided by T by 4 is equal to pi m divided by 1 by 4 F. Okay, therefore average rate of change of flux is 4 F pi m. Okay, so induced EMF per turn is equal to rate of change of flux per turn. Therefore average EMF 4 F pi m. Okay, now we know form factor RMS value divided by average value. So how to calculate the RMS value EMF per turn? Form factor into average EMF per turn. Okay. Next one is the flux varies sinusoidally. So the form factor sine wave is 1.11. Therefore, the EMF per turn is equal to 1.11 into 4F pi m. So the RMS value induced EMF in whole primary winding is equal to RMS value of EMF per turn x number of turns in primary windings. Okay, this is the first equation. E1 is equal to 4.44 F N1 pi m. This is the first equation. Second equation is secondary winding. So we have to represent the N2. Okay, from the above first and second equation, this is called the EMF equation of transformer. It shows EMF per number of turns in same for both primary and secondary windings. For an ideal transformer on no load, E1 is equal to V1 and E2 is equal to V2. Okay, ideal transformer already in previous slide, it's an equal turns. Okay, N1 is to N2. So the ideal transformer means the voltage and produced voltage is equal to E1 is equal to supply voltage of primary winding, V2 is equal to terminal voltage of secondary winding. Okay, voltage transformation ratio, K is constant. Okay, so K is known as the voltage transformation ratio. N2 greater than N1 means K greater than 1. The transformer is called a step-up transformer. N2 less than 1 means it's a step-down transformer. Okay, what are the advantages of transformer? It's a controlling and stabilizing the voltage transmission level. Okay, it do not require any starting time. Highly efficient with less capital investment and low maintenance. Provide isolation of the ground. No moving parts in the transformer. Okay, it's a static device. What are the disadvantages of the transformer? There are some drawbacks in the performance of transformer. Some of them are mentioned below. Due to its material, the making of the iron core, there is wastage in the current flow. It gives out lot of heat which requires cooling. This creates a break in the flow of the current. Okay. What are the application of this transformer? Some of the applications are listed below. Due to the feature of equal transmission and distribution of electrical power, the transformer was used in power plants, industrial plants, traditional electric utilized component. In all industries needs the power. So we are using this industries. Okay. Used to purpose of controlling heavy power supply. We are used to step up and step down in power transmission line. We want a 120 volt or 125 or 440. And we are using the step up and step down transformer. Okay, this is the simple problem. Okay, calculating the equivalent resistance for the circuit which is connected to 24 volt battery, and also find the potential difference across 4 ohm and 6 ohm resistor in the circuit. Okay, the circuit is given below. So in a series circuit, so we have to add the resistance value. 4 plus 6, 10 ohm. Okay, current in the circuit, current is equal to V by R in Ohm's law, V by R. So 24 volt. Okay, divided by the resistance value is 10. So we get the answer. Current is 2.4 amps. Voltage across the 4 ohm resistor means we have to multiply the current. Okay, first resistance is 4 ohm. Okay, 4 ohm into the value of the current is 2.4. So multiplying answer is 9.6 volt. Voltage across the 6 ohm, the same as the first one. 6 into 2.4, 14.4 voltage. Thank you. Next class we will see the second unit.